Zechariah chapter 10. Ask Adonai for rain in spring. Adonai makes the storm clouds and will give rain showers and plant of the field to everyone. The idols utter deceit and diviners see lies. They relate false dreams and comfort in vain. Therefore the people wander like sheep, afflicted because there is no shepherd. My anger burns against the shepherds, and I will punish the leaders. Adonai Tsabaoth cares for his flock, a house of Judah. He will make them his valiant steed in battle. From Judah will come the cornerstone, from him the tent peg, from him the battle bow, and from him every leader together. They will be like mighty men treading down muddy streets in war. They will fight because Adonai is with them and will put horsemen to shame. I will strengthen the house of Judah and save the house of Joseph. I will bring them back, for I have compassion on them. They will be as though I had never spurned them, for I am Adonai their God, and I will answer them. The Ephraimites will be like a warrior. Their hearts will be glad as with wine. Their children will see and be glad. Their hearts will rejoice in Adonai. I will signal for them and gather them. Surely I will redeem them, and they will be as numerous as before. Though I scatter them among the peoples, they will remember me in distant places. They and their children will survive and return. I will restore from the land of Egypt and gather them from Assyria. I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon till there is no room for them. He will cross the turbulent sea and calm its raging waves. All the depths of the Nile will dry up. The pride of Assyria brought down, the scepter of Egypt removed. So I will strengthen them in Adonai, and they will walk in his name. It is a declaration of Adonai. Chapter 11. Open your gates, Lebanon. Fire will devour your cedars. Wail, cypress tree, for the cedar has fallen. Those majestic ones are devastated. Wail, oaks Bashan, for the thick forest is cut down. Listen to the wailing of the shepherds, for their glory is destroyed. Listen to the roaring of young lions, for Jordan's thickets are ruined. Thus says Adonai my God, shepherd the flock marketed for slaughter. Their buyers slay them and go unpunished. Those who sell them say, Blessed be Adonai, for I am rich. Their own shepherds do not spare them. I will no longer have compassion on the inhabitants of the land. It is a declaration of Adonai. Behold, I will hand everyone over to his neighbor and his king. They will devastate the land. I will not deliver them from their hand. So I pastured the flock for the slaughter, especially the afflicted of the flock. Then I took two staffs. One I called favor, and the other I called union, and I pastured the flock. Next I disposed of the 3 shepherds in 1 month, for my soul was impatient with them, and their soul also detested me. Then I said, I will not shepherd you. Let the dying die, let the perishing perish, and let those who are left eat one another's flesh. So I took my staff called favor and broke it to pieces, in order to break my covenant that I made with all people. It was broken on that day. The afflicted of the flock that were watching me knew that this was the word of Adonai. Then I said to them, if it seems good to you, pay me my wages, but if not, don't bother. So they weighed out my wages, 30 pieces of silver. Then Adonai said to me, throw it to the potter, that exorbitant price at which they valued me. So I took the 30 pieces of silver and threw them into the house of Adonai to the potter. Then I broke my second staff called union, in order to break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. Again Adonai said to me, once more take up the equipment of a foolish shepherd. For behold, I am going to raise up a shepherd in the land who will not care for the dying, seek out the young, or heal the injured, or nourish the healthy. Instead, he will eat the meat of the choice sheep, even tearing off their hoofs. Woe to the worthless shepherd who deserts the flock. May a sword fell his arm and his right eye. May his arm be all withered and his right eye totally blinded. Chapter 12. The burden of the word of Adonai concerning Israel, a declaration of Adonai who stretched out the heavens, laid the foundation of the earth, and formed the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of railing to all the surrounding peoples when they besiege Jerusalem as well as Judah forever. Moreover, in that day I will make Jerusalem a massive stone for all the people. All who try to lift it will be cut to pieces. Nevertheless, all the nations of the earth will be gathered together against her. In that day it is a declaration of Adonai. I will strike every horse with confusion, and its rider will madness. I will keep my eyes on the house of Judah, but I will blind every horse of the peoples. Then the leaders of Judah will say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem are my strength, through Adonai Sabaoth their God. In that day I will make the leaders of Judah like a fire pot in a wood pile, like a burning torch among sheaves. They will devour on the right and on the left all the surrounding peoples. Yet Jerusalem will remain in her place in Jerusalem. Adonai also saved the tents of Judah first, so that the honor of the house of David and the honor of the inhabitants of Jerusalem will not exceed that of Judah. In that day Adonai will defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the weakest among them that day will be like David, and the house of David will be like God, like the angels of Adonai before them. It will happen in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. Then I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication. When they will look toward me whom they pierced, they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only son, and grieve bitterly for him as one grieves for a firstborn. In that day there will be a great mourning in Jerusalem, mourning like Hadad Rimmon in the valley of Megiddo. The land will mourn clan by clan, the clan of the house of David by itself, and their wives by themselves, the clans of the house of Nathan by itself, and their wives by themselves, the clan of the house of Levi by themselves, and their wives by themselves, the clan of the Shimeites by itself, and their wives by themselves. Each of the remaining clans will mourn by itself, and their wives by themselves. Chapter 13. In that day a spring will be opened to the house of David, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, to cleanse them from sin and impurity. It will happen in that day. It is a declaration of Adonai Tsabaoth, that I will erase the names of the idols from the land, and they will no longer be remembered. Furthermore, I will remove the prophets, the unclean spirits from the land. If anyone still prophesies, his father and mother to whom he was born will say to him, you cannot live because you tell lies in the name of Adonai. When he prophesies his own father and mother, the one who bore him will pierce him through. Therefore in that day each prophet will be ashamed of his vision when he prophesies. He will no longer wear a hairy mantle in order to deceive, but will say, I am not a prophet, I am a farmer. I have been a bondservant from my youth. Then someone will ask him, what are these wounds between your hands? And he will answer, those that I received in the house of my friends. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, against the man who is my companion. It is a declaration of Adonai Tsabaoth. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered. I will turn my hand against the little ones. Then it will happen, it is a declaration of Adonai, that in the entire land 2/3 will be cut off and die, but a third will be left in it. This third I will bring through the fire. I will refine them as silver is refined, and will test them as gold is tested. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, they are my people, and they will answer, Adonai is my God. Chapter 14. Behold, a day of Adonai is coming, when your plunder will be divided in your midst. I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem to wage war. The city shall be captured, the houses ransacked, and the woman ravished. Half of the city will be exiled, but the remainder of the people will not be cut off from the city. Then Adonai will go forth and fight against those nations as he fights in a day of battle. In that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, which lies to the east of Jerusalem, and the Mount of Olives will split in two from east to west, forming a huge valley. Half of the mountain will move toward the north, and half of it toward the south. Then you will flee through my mountain valley, because the mountain valley will reach to Azel. Yes, you will flee like you fled from the earthquake in the days of King Uzziah of Judah. Then Adonai my God will come, and all the Kedoshim with him. In that day there will be no light, cold, or frost. It will be a day known only to Adonai, neither day nor night. Even in the evening time there will be light. Moreover, in that day, living waters will flow from Jerusalem, half towards the eastern sea and half towards the western sea, both in the summer and in the winter. Adonai will then be king over all the earth. In that day, Adonai will be Echad, and his name Echad. The whole land from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, will become like the Arabah. Jerusalem will be raised up and occupy her place from the Benjamin gate to the place of the first gate to the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananel to the king's wine presses. People will dwell in her, and no longer will there be a ban of destruction. Jerusalem will live in security. Now this is the plague with which Adonai will strike all the peoples that wage war against Jerusalem. Their flesh will rot while they are standing on their feet. Their eyes will rot in their sockets. Their tongues will rot in their mouths. It will happen in that day that a great panic from Adonai will be among them. Each person will seize the hand of his neighbor, and they will attack each other. Even Judah will fight at Jerusalem. The wealth of all the surrounding peoples will be gathered together, an abundance of gold and silver and apparel. A similar plague will strike the horse, the mule, the camel, the donkey, and all the animals in that camp. Then all the survivors from all the nations that attacked Jerusalem will go up from year to year to worship the King, Adonai Tzabaoth, and celebrate Sukkot. Furthermore, if any of the nations on earth do not go up to Jerusalem to worship the King, Adonai Tzabaoth, they will have no rain. If the Egyptians do not go up and celebrate, they will have no rain. Instead, there will be the plague that Adonai will inflict on the nations that do not go up to celebrate Sukkot. This will be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all the nations that do not go up to celebrate Sukkot. In that day, holy to Adonai will be inscribed on the bellows of the horses, and the pots in the house of Adonai will be like the sacred bowls in front of the altar. In fact, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah will be holy to Adonai Tzabaoth, so that everyone who comes to sacrifice will take them and cook in them. In that day there will no longer be a Canaanite in the house of Adonai Tzabaoth.